Right, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that's following me. You are back to a Blind Man's podcast, of course, with me, Blind Man. And I want to give a massive shout out again today to my sponsors. We've got Car-Ching. Now, Car-Ching are the biggest buying car company in the Northeast. They will buy anything from a Ferrari to a Reliant Robin. Also, I have a new sponsor today. It is Look Productions. Look Productions are a massive media company. They will record anything for you, from music videos to interviews to advertisements to everything. They've worked with people such as BBC, Sky, and of course, Blind Man B. So today I'm joined by who I would consider a very inspiring man. He'll never admit it himself, but he is to me. He's a very important person in my life, and he's going to tell you his story. So I'm joined, of course, you may have seen him on television as well, on a news programme. It is Mr. Steve Watson. Hello.
Hello, mate.
Are you good?
I'm great. I'm always good, Richie.
Fantastic.
Always better for seeing you as well.
So, on my podcast, Steve, I always start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to know where you were born, where you grew up, and how your childhood was.
Well, that's straight in the deep end. I was born in Middlesbrough, and I grew up not in Middlesbrough, actually. We moved every couple of years from Middlesbrough to Redcar to Hull, back to Middlesbrough, Pontefract. I was in a terrible, terrible household with a very abusive stepfather, so he moved around. When I was 15, I decided I had enough, so I left.
Up sticks and gone.
I went to... I had a beautiful uncle who was in the British Army in Germany, and I went to stay with him.
Right, and he looked after you well? Kept you safe?
Yeah, he did as best he could. He was obviously busy, but it was good for me to get away.
I can imagine.
I wasn't away that long, but when I was away, I picked up German, which was important to me when I went eventually myself into the army. But he was a lovely man, and I miss him dearly. He passed away 10 years ago now, but he was the opposite of my stepfather.
So he was the kind of one that would look after you, make sure you were right, raise you to be a man, you know, whereas your stepfather was just horrible.
He was brutal.
That's actually quite shocking, because I didn't know that. And that's why I always start from the beginning, so people can get into the character, not just what the character does. Because the thing is you've done so much in your life that it's just a massive story that needs to be crammed into a small book. So, teenage years, what was it like as a teenager? Did you get out there? Did you go into anything well, or?
I wasn't particularly good at anything. I was in a band. I played the guitar from 15, 16. As I say, I worked in Germany. Came back to the UK. There was no jobs. And so, on the recommendation of my uncle, I went into the British Army. I was really, really fortunate. The army was fantastic to me. It's remained fantastic all my life. They picked up on something that I didn't even know I had. They picked up on some qualities I had, and I found myself, believe it or not, at the age of 19, 20, as an intelligence officer in the British Army. Now, for me, coming from where I came from with no qualifications
into that,
sitting next to the Right Honourable Lucian Dreisbach Pollington and these type of people, I was kind of like a fish out of water, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Now, I always knew that you had a soldier background, because which we'll get into later about the gigs. When I met you there, you had all the berets and all that. So, what would you say was... It's hard to say, because a lot of you guys don't like to talk about it, but what was your toughest part of that life where you just felt, I just want to go home?
I never felt like that. It was some of it was dangerous, but when you're in it and you've got surrounded by total professional colleagues, you don't feel under any danger.
You just feel safe.
You're safe. You trust each other. You can't get a cigarette paper between you. So I never felt any negativity in the army at all. I loved every second of it.
Quick war story where you were. The most thing that sticks in here the most.
I worked behind the Iron Curtain. For those of you who can remember what the Iron Curtain was, it was communism at its height, and I was in Berlin, living in West Berlin, but I worked against the Russians and the East Germans, and I remember vividly going into East German enemy territory, trying to take photographs and steal bits off tanks and this type of thing. Boys' own stuff, really, if you think about it. It's not like a job, it's like you would do it for nothing. But it was fantastic. It's a young man's game. I was in the anti-terrorist team in London. That was another interesting part. But like I said,
so if you were still there now, you would have took part in maybe an operation or a mission on the 7-7. You know,
maybe all of that stuff was in our remit. Yeah.
Okay, I get that. That's cool. So we'll just we'll fast forward a little bit. We've come out of the army. So you now come home, and what happens in Steve's life now?
So I have to find a job when I come out, and I end up working for the Royal Mail and work my way up to be a senior manager. I was married at the time too,
Postman.
and that marriage fell apart. So I took myself off and met a Thai lady 20 years ago now. And from there I decided I wasn't going to stay in the UK. I went to Thailand.
So you actually went to live in Thailand?
I did, yeah.
And obviously you live there with your current wife now?
Yes.
And then you brought her back here?
Yeah, we came back 10 years ago.
So life in Thailand, how much different is it to life in the United Kingdom? I'm assuming it's more laid back and glorious.
It's honestly, it's as different could be. So it's laid back. The people are much more friendly.
The place is much more beautiful.
Much more beautiful, but then again, the negative side is, to put things into context, there's no social security net. If you don't work, you don't eat.
So there's absolutely no benefit whatsoever in Thailand.
There's bits and bobs, but as a foreigner, you're not entitled to any of it.
Right. Okay, I get you.
So yeah, it's completely different. It's like someone's transplanted you onto another planet.
Wow. So did you have a job in Thailand? Obviously,
my wife and I had a apartment complex, if you will, with a restaurant. So
right. And I'm assuming your wife being Thai, I'm gonna say she probably makes the best Thai food on planet Earth.
Well, when we came back to the UK, that's what the thing we did. We opened up 2 Thai restaurants, and she managed to get herself to #1 on TripAdvisor. She's not bad. Not bad.
Does a good sticky rice and green curry then?
Pad Thai is their speciality.
Pad Thai.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it one day.
You'll be welcome.
So okay, so we've done the army. You've lived in Thailand. You came back. You've brought your beautiful Thai bride home, as what I would consider as your home. You've done the restaurant thing. Now, I want to know what got you into where I met you. The charity gigs at Eisteddfod, Royal British Legion, blah blah blah.
So even coming through the childhood that I had, I remember when I was 11 years old, I did a charity 24-hour sponsored football game for what was then called, it's not very politically correct term, but it was then called the Spastic Society, people with Down syndrome, and it was probably one of the greatest things of my childhood. The activity.
I'm not being funny, but I'm glad they changed the name of that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But at the time, it was unenlightened. But even at the age of 11, with everything I was coping with a drunk brute of a stepdad, I still found enjoyment and peace in giving. So I've always done that. Even in Thailand, we used to attend on a Sunday night a music session where I could play, and all the proceeds went to a hospice for Thai children with AIDS, because there's a lot of drugs and drug abuse. So when I came back, I joined the British Legion, and I was elected chairman of the British Legion in the concert area.
Brilliant.
And the British Legion has a reputation really of being a kind of stuffy, old-fashioned organisation. And what I tried to do in our area was bring it into the modern era, and we decided to run a music rock festival. And that first one took place in 2015, and it was fantastic. You were outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
Too much love.
Honestly, there wasn't a roof, it was a tent, but you raised the roof. It was
raised the tent.
You raised the tent. Just a couple of those songs.
Yeah, that's how me and Steve met through music.
The Joker, I always remember, was great. Anyway, we raised a lot of money and we raised a lot of perception of the British Legion in the modern era by doing those things.
Brilliant.
The poppy appeal and all of it.
They do something like that over here in Ashington as well. Up the main street, there's a veterans centre.
Yes, I've seen it.
And I actually got involved with them through Coast Radio, and they invited me to what they called an open mic night for the first time, to kind of do what you were aiming for, modernise it.
Yes.
Because it was all stigma of wrinkly old men with our John Smiths going there. No one says nothing. No women are allowed in.
Yeah, no one talks about any issues like PTSD.
Exactly.
Anything like that. And you've got to get it out.
And we went in and we did it, and they said the same. They said, "Wow, you've brought rap into here. This is crazy, but it was amazing. You've modernised it more, and forever friends now."
Great.
But I'm quite proud of how you've became, because I've watched a lot of podcasts where people, when they were children, they were abused, they were around alcohol, drugs, lots of nasty stuff, which I won't really get into fully because there's children present. But most of them people grew up and became nasty, horrible men because of the way they were treated as children. Whereas you have tried your best to just help people, spread love.
But I do that, but I also, Richie, be honest with you, I do have my times when I kind of, because I was around it for so long, you get angry for reasons that you shouldn't get angry. But most of the time, you can hold it together. I'm a school teacher, so I can't be going.
You can't be flipping the lid, and I find it amazing. So I want to big up Steve for the Eisteddfod gigs that he did, because he did raise a lot of awareness, and it gave me that opportunity to perform and show the world that rap isn't what it's stereotyped as.
No, it was beautiful, Richie, honestly. It was great. I always remember it was electricity in the audience that day, the first day, and subsequently afterwards. For people that don't know, because he won't talk about himself, he bothered even to come across to the school I'm a governor at. It's a primary school, and he rapped at a primary school, a Catholic primary school, and the kids were just in raptures because they associate rap in a negative context.
It is, and that's what gets on my nerves, because everybody just hears the word rap and they think, oh my gosh, snapbacks, chains, the stigma, guns, gangs, violence. It's not.
Misogyny, I know.
It's not. That's why I've changed my title, Steve. I'm now no longer a hip-hop rapper. I'm now a motivational freestyler.
Okay.
Because when I say motivational freestyler, people think, oh, interesting. When I say hip-hop rapper, they go,
Oh, that's very good. Yeah.
So, give me a little bit of spiel about this leg of yours. Why on earth have you got one leg, and what happened, and what can I do with you?
Listen, it's nothing, man. If you think about what's going on in the world and the people that are in trouble, my leg's nothing. See, I jumped off a wall, snapped it, it wouldn't heal, and it had to come off.
And a lot of people would probably think, soldier, one leg, it happened in the war. It didn't. It happened at home.
It happened in where Bobby plays football.
So, how has it affected you first mentally, and then we'll get on to the positive side? When you lost it first, I bet you thought, I hate to say this, but you probably thought, that's it, I'm frigged, I'm cabbaged, I'm done.
No.
No?
The opposite.
Wow, okay. You see, this is why I like this man, because most people would call that quits, So what did you feel mentally when it come off?
Relief.
Yes.
I had 2 years of absolute pain, and it was never going to heal. It was like carrying around a dead piece of meat. So the morning I woke up after the operation, it was like the world had been lifted. My boss came to see me. My bosses came to see me from school, the head of the academy, and said to me, "You look a different person." And I've been better than I ever have been in the last 2 years, because pain. If you only need to look at people, for example, who have arthritis or rheumatism, pain's a fatiguing, chronic condition.
It is, it's horrible.
And it brings you down. So for me, it was like, straight away, I'm ready now.
Now, it's a different kind of pain and relief. Like you just said there, pain is a fatigue, it's a stress. Now, sometimes I wish I could just do the same with my eyes. Pull them out, stick some new ones in. But the last time I saw you, you were on crutches, you were hobbling around, struggling to get a hug off me. And
when we could hug those days.
yeah, exactly, when you were allowed to hug each other. But there was a time when I came home after that, and I did think, you know what, Steve would be better off without that bloody thing stuck to his frigging leg.
Yeah.
His frigging body, sorry.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you now and you look more happier, you look less stressed, you just look like you're happy.
You couldn't, I don't even consider it it's a disability, because obviously things are difficult to do in terms of getting about, because I haven't got another prosthetic leg yet. But it's not a disability in terms of who I am, and it doesn't define me as Steve Watson. Steve Watson is 5 years ago, this day, very day, Richie, which is why there is fate. I got reminded on one of those Facebook things this morning. 5 years ago to this day, I was in a refugee camp on the Croatian-Serbian border, helping Afghan, Iraqi refugees who were basically getting abused through the Balkans, feeding them, carrying them. There was an Afghan lady who was 82 years old, had been left for dead on the side of the road. 5 years ago today, it came up on my Facebook feed. So there is a fate, because I'm talking to you about.
Exactly. Now, this is what does my head in as well. Like, people go, oh, like, you know, it doesn't matter what happens to them people because they done this and they done that. Me, I think it doesn't matter how old you are, what colour you are, what skin you are. We're all human.
I wish more people would
We're all
say that.
human. We should all love each other, you know?
But we don't, and that's the problem. And more people
It's a damn shame.
But you get called a do-gooder, or I mean, you know, we had...
Oh, I get Bible basher, happy clapper.
We had, in our restaurant, we had people who took against that stuff. I mean, I can remember our house we couldn't move in our house. It was packed with stuff that had been donated to us by the good people of Concert and around there. But still, there were still people who hated you for it.
It's jealousy.
And they're beyond redemption, really, because they, by the grace of God, there they go. By their birth, they were lucky enough to be born in a country where they're safe.
But people need to realise that if we all work together, you know, we can all love. I saw a very interesting post this morning on Facebook, which made me actually think of this interview as well, because we tend to talk about these things. It said, and I quote, "Money is not the root to all evil, jealousy is."
Yeah, jealousy probably is, because, you know, like the 3 children died this week in the Channel. One of them was only 8 months old, I think. And we've still got people saying, well, we should keep them out. You know, we're jealous. We don't want them to be in our country. We were raised, our country was raised and became brilliant on immigration.
But yet it's
celebrated.
But yet it's different when we want to go and live in their country.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
for sure.
We're allowed because we're British. It should just be like, you know, I'm not trying to promote a one world, one government, because I'm not about the new world order crap, but that's a different podcast. I just want everybody, I don't care what colour skin you are, how old you are, where you come from, who your mum and dad, you know, if you love back, you know?
Easy.
And he has a good example of love, okay? And I'll probably make her laugh, but your wife, she saw you get amputated. First thing she thought of, I'm going to make my husband a leg. I don't care what it's made of, where the materials are from, as long as that bugger can walk.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, and she made you the leg, didn't she?
She made me the leg, and we've just been on a cycling trip, and I'm wearing that leg, and it fell off halfway along the road. You can see everybody going, what's going on there? But
yeah, some guy stood at the side of the main road screwing his leg back on.
Screwing the leg back
instead
on,
of fixing his bike. So what was this leg made out of, just out of interest?
Oh, she got an old bit of timber at Bobby's bed. It's the first one that made me look like Long John Silver. It was an old bucket one of them kids' buckets from the beach and a piece of wood, and honestly, I looked ridiculous, and it kept falling off. But the second one's not bad at all. You can get on the bike, you can, have a bit of freedom.
It's brilliant.
It's great.
And it feels cosy?
It's okay. It's never going to be the real thing, but like I say, I can get on a bike.
And when are you going to get one of these ones that actually looks like a bloody leg?
Well, there is another tale. Because of COVID, I was told I wouldn't be getting a leg until in the new year.
Wow.
But somewhere along the line, someone's looking after me, because I think it's probably the army's influence, but I don't really know. I've been twice now to the Freeman. I was called forward, and I think within 2 or 3 weeks I'm going to have a leg.
So just for the benefit of me viewers that are probably thinking, yeah, this is all a gimmick, whatever. Do you want to show them, if you can? There you go.
Hello.
So
my name is Forrest Stump.
Forrest Stump. You see, so this is real, guys. Steve actually did lose his leg, and it's crazy to think that he fought in all these countries for our country. He went through all that danger, came home in one piece, and the silly old sod jumps off a wall, and that happens to him. But do you know what? It shows that the man's got a great heart, because he's happy. He couldn't be happier, and he just wants to help the world. Now, I'm just going to quickly touch upon future projects when we can, because obviously this stupid coronavirus, I mean, I'm not going to get into that because people are sick of hearing about it. So what have you got in your diary or in your blueprints for after all this decides to bugger off and leave you alone?
Well, my focus at the moment is I work in a fantastic school in Stanley, a school with children who, some of whom have got some real issues. So I spend all my time just trying to make their lives happier. I'm in a class of special needs children, and it's the most fantastic thing. And
I bet they absolutely love you.
They do. Can I say, in all seriousness, you get far, far more love back.
I understand.
They're so giving and affectionate and warm. So for the moment, I'm just trying to focus on that, because I have to use the wheelchair every day at school, and until I can get a leg, I haven't really got any more plans. But as soon as I get my leg, I really want to get back onto this. I'm not going to call it a crusade, because people will think, oh, he's self-righteous, but this path I was on of helping other people in need, particularly people stuck in Calais, people stuck in refugee camps. There's far more I should be doing. I should be doing more.
Well, there you go. And when we can, I think me and Steve, we need to rock the northeast of England with some more motivational rapping / speaking, some guitar playing, some drum banging, just beautiful music.
Let's get some music out there.
And I would keep you longer, but your son over there, the next, I shall dare say, Peter Beardsley, Alan Shearer, Cristiano Ronaldo, whoever the hell you want to call him, he's got a football match, hasn't he?
He's playing at the academy tonight, yeah.
Look out for him, he's the future, I'm telling you.
Bobby Watson.
Bobby Watson. That name will be remembered. I want to give a shout out to Steve's family, his beautiful wife, the beautiful man himself, for coming all the way over here. During his bicycle mission, he's took his own free time out to come and see me again. Steve, it's a pleasure, man.
It's my pleasure, Richie. As I've always said to you, you're a special guy. Well done.
See, people, you need to realise love conquers everything. That man taught me that 4 years ago, and it's been drummed and carved into my skull ever since. So I want to thank you all for watching. As I say, I would have kept him longer, but he's got other things to do. So I want to say thank you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I've got more podcasts coming. Tomorrow, Saturday, Halloween, I've got Northumberland Ghost Hunters here. Ooh. But till then, Ka-ching, Look Productions, everybody, peace, God bless, thank you very much. And that's the end of it. And I'm going to get Steve to press the button so I don't break anything. Bye.